Cinderella, Cinderella, it's a musical Cinderella. Hey everyone, this is David Stark from Watch Your Pass. I'm going to talk to you about Cinderella, the 2021 release, which is coming to theaters and Amazon Prime Video on September 3rd, 2021. It's a fresh new take on kind of the classic Cinderella tale that has a much more contemporary feel and music, but it's still kind of set in like a Cinderella medieval period. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the film, 3 things I liked about it, and 2 things I didn't like. I normally also go into spoilers in my reviews, but for this one, I feel like I kind of want to leave it to be a surprise. It's a kids movie. I want the kids to go watch it and find out. So I'm gonna hold off on major spoilers. There might be a few minor things, but nothing major. So Cinderella is a 2021 release that has a fresh take on kind of the classic Cinderella tale. So you have all the main components. You've got Cinderella, the stepsisters, the stepmother, the mice friends. She wants to make a dress. You've got a prince and a king, and the prince is trying to find a love, but they mix up the story enough. Cinderella is not just kind of looking for a man. She's trying to kind of grow her career. She has dreams of being a fashion designer, and so she's really trying to work for that. The stepsisters and stepmother, they aren't necessarily purely vindictive to her. It is a little bit more of a kind of neglectful relationship, not a very angry relationship. And they change up enough about the film. They change up Cinderella's motivations. They change up, the fairy godmother now becomes this fabulous, the fabulous godmother, and that is a real treat. I really loved Billy Porter as the fabulous godmother. So they changed the story up enough to kind of modernize it and give it a fresh kind of coat of paint. And the other thing they really do, and I'll start going into the things I liked. So the first thing I really loved about this film is the music. The film, Cinderella has classic songs, at least the Cinderella from Disney's 1952 Cinderella, that has classic songs that everyone knows. This film also has songs, but it's more of a kind of like Baz Luhrmann Moulin Rouge type of take on it. The characters sing contemporary songs. They're kind of remixed and kind of rearranged for the Cinderella context. So you'll hear a lot of songs that you recognize and kind of grew up with. If I think it kind of skews more 90s. So if you're a 90s kid, you'll hear songs that you kind of grew up with and recognize, but they're in the context of the Cinderella story. So they're either remixed or rearranged to fit right into the spot where they would go in the story. And it was a really nice take. It felt very much like Baz Luhrmann's Moulin Rouge, which is the same thing. You had kind of classic songs that were rearranged and added to the story. So you had these kinds of, you had these songs kind of in a new context, which was really fun to hear. And I really loved that about this film. I loved hearing a song I recognized and seeing it redone into this new setting in this classic story that I knew growing up. And so that's the first and most obvious, and the most kind of striking thing about this film is the music. The second thing I really love is they updated the story. I mentioned a few of these already, but the stepsisters and stepmother, they're not as mean to Cinderella. I mean, they're still mean. They're more kind of a neglectful mean, and they do some things to thwart her plans, but it didn't seem as outright angry as it did in kind of the cartoon. They also make the prince, the prince has different motivations. Cinderella herself has different motivations. Her desire is to build a business or, kind of grow her brand to then try to help the family out. She has a much more motivated, driven perspective in this film than in, the 1952 film, which makes sense. I mean, it's a more recent film. It's a more modern take on kind of the story. But I really liked those updates. I liked, the fact that Cinderella had a goal of her own and had something that she was trying to build towards. And also the prince, wasn't necessarily trying to rule the kingdom. His motivations were a little different. Well, he was a little bit more of a playboy. He also cared very much about what other people thought of him. So I liked those story updates. And then the other, very obvious, very noticeable story update is the fairy godmother being replaced by the fabulous godmother played by Billy Porter, which was a lot of fun. I mean, when he came on screen, he was energetic, he was boisterous, he was magical, on the screen, and I liked his energy and what he added to the story. It was a fun update, and I think it's one that kind of instantly shows that this is a different film than any of the other Cinderellas that have come before. The last thing I really loved, and I've talked about this already, is the cast. The cast was really good. The cast was enjoyable. You have, I'm probably going to butcher this, Camila Cabello as Ella in the film. She's known as Ella, not Cinderella, and you'll find out why when you watch the film. And she did a really good job as a kind of motivated, driven person who is down, on her luck or kind of held back by her class. But she doesn't let that get in her way. She fights for her goals, which is a lot of fun to see. I also loved, Idina Menzel as the stepmother. Idina Menzel is great in anything involving singing, and as you would expect in this, she has some very powerful songs, and she also does a good job acting. Kind of the surprises in the film were Minnie Driver as the queen and Pierce Brosnan as the king. They provided kind of a little bit of comic relief in Pierce Brosnan's character, and then Minnie Driver's character was a little bit more understanding and kind of provided the heart for the royal family. And so I liked seeing their interactions and kind of their epiphanies during the film. And then Nicholas Galitzine as the prince was a lot of fun too. I liked his character. He was very relatable. He was very likable. And I liked that they changed up what his role was going to be in this royal family. And I've already mentioned, but Billy Porter as the fabulous godmother was probably the standout in this film. It was really, really fun to see him. So some things I didn't like about this film, and these are all minor, so don't worry too much about them. The first is, so the film was rated PG. There were a few references that were a little bit more mature than I would have expected in the PG movie. Now I think that they're kind of in the realm of, things that have double meanings. So like my kids didn't understand them, but me as an adult, I understood the reference and thought it was a little edgy. And so I imagine that that's what most people watching this are going to have. It's got something that the adults can enjoy, and then something the kids might laugh at but aren't going to really understand the full context of it. And some of these also were in the songs. You've got contemporary songs added to the story, so they also have some lyrics that maybe are a little edgy for a PG movie. Nothing terrible, and like I wouldn't be too worried about that, but just keep that in mind when you're watching. There might be some references that you might just want to let slide off of you, so you don't key your kids in on that. That might be something that they shouldn't say. The next thing I didn't love is this is because it's a live action remake, and I will admit I didn't see the 2015 Cinderella, so I don't know if maybe this was the same in that film. But in this film, because it's live action, because you have real actors playing these characters, some of the mistreatment was a little shocking to me. Now it's not like crazy shocking, but it had more of an impact when you see actors do the mistreatment than when you see the cartoon characters, and that's just kind of natural. I think you empathize more with actors than you would with cartoon characters, Pixar movies aside. And so just seeing them played out in like real people was a little bit surprising for me. It kind of hit me a little harder than I expected it to. But like I said, there isn't a ton of mistreatment in this film, and I think that's probably because it's PG, and also the filmmakers probably recognize that it would have more of an impact if it's with real people, so they probably tried to tone it down. So it's not a major issue. It's just something that kind of struck me about this film. And again, you kind of have to have that mistreatment to have the full Cinderella story. So it's not a major knock. It was shocking to me to see how much different I reacted with actors versus animated people. But all that being said, I really liked Cinderella. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. I didn't watch the trailer, so I didn't realize it was like a Baz Luhrmann type of remake of the story, and it was really enjoyable. I loved the music, the cast, the story, all the updates. And I think it's something that is, it's coming to theaters on September 3rd. It's also coming to Amazon Prime, so you can watch it in theaters or you can have a movie night at home. It's up to you. You can watch it either way, but either way, it's a really good experience, and it's a really fun remake. So thanks so much for watching. If you liked this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.